Monday morning, about it's a little after 7 a.m., 25 degrees, little snowy, froze overnight from the rain yesterday on Cape Cod here. It's just kind of an icy kind of mess, but off Cape Boston and whatnot, it's getting hammered with snow. But this is a busy week. If this ends up getting posted, it'll be interesting to look back on. So preparing for a busy week this week, and usually my mentality for a crazy week is take it one day at a time and just get to the end goal, which really would be Friday for me. Have a job opportunity that is in Chicago area, actually really Michigan area. That's not where I would be in terms of having to relocate or anything like that. I could stick with where I'm at now, but have to get on a plane this week, do some presenting. It's in a different industry than I'm in, but non-competing industry, but still instrumentation, which is something I've known very well for about 15 years now. And my current role, while I'm very blessed to be in it and to work for the people that I work with, circumstances certainly have had me open to looking at elsewhere, meaning when there's typically in the past, if someone knocked on the door, really just kind of say thanks but no thanks. But now I've been getting some knocking on the door, and this looks really interesting. So I want to check that out, and maybe at some point I can do another video on kind of the in-depth reasons why. But I just want to get through this week first. So today the goal is I have a presentation to present while I'm there. That goes on Wednesday, Thursday, but I gotta get to the city Tuesday night 'cause my flight's early Wednesday morning. But today is kind of working on that presentation. Obviously, to do my normal day job, so I have a bunch of meetings there, as well as just other life things to get done. Because I'd been out of town at the condo location, certainly have Christmas still kind of set up, but because it's been cold and snowy, it's definitely very cozy and it's not annoying, so I got to work on that. Mountains of laundry from being out of town and traveling to get done, so we'll chip away at that, and really just focusing on my work obligations for the day. So really, what I like to do is set a goal for myself for the day, or maybe a couple goals. First goal being what do I need to get done for today, and then what do I need to get done that I need to have ready for tomorrow. So yesterday, maybe I should have started this kind of vlog, if you will, yesterday I did that. I realigned some meetings for the week for my work, so I could take on this opportunity later this week. So that's a check. Some personal things on the schedule confirmed, and make sure that those were dialed in as well. So did that yesterday. Today the goals were hit the gym, which is like a must every morning. And then despite this week going to get a little sidetracked with that, but we'll adjust with the travel. And so we'll continue to work on a presentation. I have a work kind of, I want to say report / presentation I need to get done in the coming days, so we'll get that done. We'll get working on it. I have some new hires at the day job that they're in week 3 or week 4, so virtually have to take part in some trainings for those guys as well. And then kind of at the end of the day, get my drinks ready for my protein for the gym ready, my gym stuff laid out, which I kind of already did some of that already. Started, and also I like to get packed on the earlier side for my trip, my 2 nights trip, one night in Boston, the next night in Michigan. So we We got most of that stuff laid out, but just got to finish some laundry so I have clean underwear to bring. So that's the goal for today. I've been through interview processes many times. When your heart is not in it, but you take the interview to do it, I perform better when like I really want it, and this is something I really want. And I have virtually interviewed with them bunches of times, and I felt that I hit it. I felt like we've all gotten along really well. It just seems like a really good fit. So I really hoping that I can use my previous experiences, especially from my current job. Maybe I'll do a video on that interview process, because that was the most insane interview process I ever went through, and I would never do it again. But I'm drawing from that for this, and I'm really calm about this, excited, but calm in terms of not being nervous. I reflect back on my last role, or last job, if you will, or my current job, I should say, that I interviewed for. I was definitely wrapped tight throughout the process. Definitely wrapped tight. I performed and I was confident, but I already feel confident, not cocky, because you still gotta prepare yourself. And so I'm working on preparing myself. The good news is this role is right up my alleyway. So in many ways, even during the interview process, the talking points were just, we're just rolling off, because it's something I've experienced with the ice. I gotta push the buttons to get in. So we should feel good. So I'll update this as the day goes on, or maybe even tonight, tomorrow. But so today's kind of like day one. We got to get through day one, preparing getting through the workday, meeting obligations, working on the slides for my interview presentation, some packing, laundry, and and I have to get the kids home. The schedule's different this week for them with school and all, so I got to make sure I get them home and keep you up to date. So I wanted to do a quick update video to the week that I started on Monday. It's now Wednesday, and I really whiffed yesterday, updating where things were. So I'll kind of leave off, because I think it was Monday I was leaving the gym. Monday was pretty crazy. I had to get the kids to, they were off from school that day on Monday. So I kind of had to get them to a couple different places, because I had an appointment early afternoon. So kind of scrambled for us to go eat lunch, and then drop them off to go to my appointment, and then come back, kind of work the day, and then ultimately go back to the condo location and really pretty much prepare for bedtime. And I think I had dinner Monday night like usual, which was pretty good. Was exhausted. Got up yesterday, did my normal leg workout. Normally I do 45 minutes of cardio on top, but I cut it to 15 because I knew I had a wall of meetings all morning starting at 9. Had to continue working on a presentation for where I am right now in the Midwest, which is a total different location. I'm in a hotel. So got working on that presentation, packed up in the afternoon because I had a meeting at the kid's school, which went well. He goes for some extra help and was meeting with a couple people there. So that was in the afternoon, and it was emotional. It's your kid, right? It's emotional. It's been weighing on me really since, and even leading up to some kind of decisions in terms of some extra help we have to make. And then from there, kind of finished out the work day, had dinner with the kids. We went out to eat, and then I dropped them off, and then left around 7 o'clock to drive to the airport, which is over an hour ride, check into a hotel. By the time I got to bed, it was close to 10, which is way past my bedtime. Was hoping to continue to work on my presentation. Got up at 3. No, unfortunately, not to exercise, but to catch flight. Thankfully, my hotel's attached to the airport, but had to walk to the car because I wanted to leave my overnight clothing and not bring dirty laundry with me to Michigan. So, in the process of this, I realized I didn't have a computer charger with me, and I still had to finish the presentation. Whew. So I got to the airport. Surprisingly, a lot of stuff was open that hour, and was not fortunate enough to. You find those electronic stores when you don't need them, and I looked in the Hudsons and whatnot. I didn't have what I needed, so I just thought, okay, I'm not going to connect to the internet on it. Shut everything else down. Work on my presentation. So caught my flight. It was to Chicago. It was quite an empty flight. Had a road to myself. Slept the whole time. I was exhausted. Had about 2.5 hour connection time between O'Hare and getting to Michigan. So I really cranked it on my presentation. Just almost done. Battery got down to like 50%. So I knew I would have a window of time before I had to be where I needed to be today. I needed to check into the hotel to get out of my sweats and into my business clothes. But thankfully where I am, it's a small area, and I looked up at Best Buy while I was in Chicago. So when I got my rental, walked right into Best Buy, bought the last power supply for my computer, made it to my hotel, plugged it in, we're good. Thankfully I won't need that today, but I will need it tomorrow and tomorrow morning. I'll put some finishing touches on my presentation. All this going on while because this is unrelated to my day job. This is a business meeting outside of my day job. So all that while trying to manage the business stuff at the same time. They have in Ohio record-breaking temperatures, -10. Pipes are freezing in the office, and thankfully I have good people working on that. But to add to it, it is 10 degrees here, and it is snowing. And sometimes when things work your way, they work your way. My rental car is a Jeep Wrangler. So that broke my way. And I sometimes look for little signs when I'm kind of feeling down or, kind of down a little bit. And when I didn't bring the power supply and I have like 5 of them at home, I was like, must be a sign. Must be a sign. This is not going to work. And there was a few little other things along the way that I won't get into, but I recovered, did what I needed to do, got the power supply, maintaining my schedule, and that's the thing. I could blame the snow, I can blame things happening, but I'm a big believer of not doing that and trying to figure out the best way to move forward. I know it sounds like a minor thing, but when you're going 200 miles an hour, managing things on your phone, in an office somewhere else, trying to finish presentation, trying to decide what's most important to do with family, making some decisions like I talked about my son. So I said this was going to be a week. I still have a day in front of me, and it's 2:30 in the afternoon. Have some meetings, a business dinner, and then get up and kind of do it again all morning, and then have about an hour to race to my flight to get out. So, and then along the lines, I got to present. It's just crazy, crazy. So I'll end up landing tomorrow after the connections, probably 6:00 at night in Boston, and then I got to drive over an hour. So I don't want to get into tomorrow. Like I talked about in the first video, I like to take it one day at a time. And even today, some parts of the day, I was so kind of bummed out because my flights were delayed that I decided to take it hour by hour. Now, getting some momentum on my side. I got dressed, my clothes weren't wrinkled or unrecoverable wrinkled that I would have to bust out an iron, so we're good. We're about to hit the door. Yeah, it's 10 degrees. I got a scarf, I got a hat, I got coats. We're gonna go do this, and we're gonna do it well. And then I look forward to hopefully at the end of all of these videos or this week to really tell you what I was up to. But just kind of want to share a little bit in the moment how I'm feeling about the day. Generally a very positive person, but sometimes I feel like, I have to exert a ton of energy. It's just like, it never fails. It's like, the one time you don't want this to happen and it does happen. And the other, it's just like those domino effects. And I sometimes find positive attitude can stop that negative momentum. So like I said, I got my power supply, I got to the hotel, checked in, I'm on schedule, we're good to go. So I will continue this video. Hopefully the snow will stop soon. Not that I really don't mind it, but I have business clothes, I don't have boots. I'll see you when we continue. Stay tuned. Well, I wanted to wrap up the video from the week I do apologize as I've gotten a bit choppy with recording and kind of updating. My hope initially was to do a kind of a daily update of this crazy week that has come. It is now Sunday, so technically it's the next week, but clearly I made it. And it's not so much about like something physically is going to happen to me in that week. No, it's more about physical stamina, not physical, but mental stamina, and, through the week with everything that was going on all at the same time. So I think the last part of this video that I left off with is I had completed my interview, and so I completed my interview. That was on Thursday morning, and I had a presentation to give, and I apologize if I'm repeating myself. And long story short, in case I am repeating myself, my presentation went 2 hours. I presented, and it went really, really well. Awesome. I managed to accomplish what I was trying to pull off, was turn my presentation into a group, kind of like a discussion based on how I built my slides, how I planned to have the meeting. It was awesome. So as we wrapped up, kind of people saying goodbye, the two major stakeholders in this, who are essentially the board, kind of huddled up, and then I came back into the conference room, and they gave me the how you feeling and about everything and all that. Obviously very positive. And they said to me, let's get a deal done. Super exciting. I take my career, my day job, very seriously, and I just don't kind of just jump around, but I also know how to read the room, and also know how to go where I know there's a potentially good fit and I can make a good run. So I should hear back from them sometime this upcoming week. Well, like I said, it's now Sunday, so sometime during this week. I should imagine, even though they said early in the week, I've been down this road before. It'll be more like probably by the end of the week, I hope. And, if things are kind of where we kind of framed them out to be, then this is a go for me, which is a major deal. But basically how the rest of that day went is the airport is 0.9 miles away. It's a tiny, like, five gate airport. And you really could just walk in. Like, there was nobody in the security line. You just, like, walk in. There's, like, one snack bar for the whole place that has, like, some food. So I get there. I got there an hour before my flight, which to me, I normally don't do that. I'm a 2-hour type of guy. Flight ended up being delayed. I missed my connection flight in Chicago. So I ended up, because it was, as you saw earlier in the video, it was just snowing and snowing and snowing and snowing. But you know what? I was so relieved that I got over the hump from that part of the week, or between that, being mentally prepared for that, situated, and then also dealing with the meeting at my son's school and making a decision for there. So we ultimately got to a place where we have a game plan. On Friday we figured that out. So my flight ended up leaving Chicago at like 7 local time, which I landed after 10 p.m. Eastern time in Boston. Obviously I had to go, I checked the bag, which you might be like, well, why did you check a bag for such a short trip? I have my workout clothes in there and whatnot, and it's just, this time of year when it's cold, it just adds to everything. So by the time I got my bag, went through central parking, found my car, drove back. I basically put my head on the pillow after midnight. Whew, that was a lot. So then normally I get up at like about 4 if I'm not in the Midwest location. If I'm in my normal New England location, then I get up at 4 in the morning and go to the gym and do or run or whatever. I pushed it an hour because of to get up to basically have less than 4 hours of sleep is not good, and I ended up doing it with less than 5 hours of sleep. So I went to the gym, got a workout in, and then showered, ate breakfast, did some work calls, work stuff, and then my son, for whatever reason, their school they got done at 11 a.m. this week, and or for I think Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I wanted to go spend time with them, hang out and whatnot. So I went over, get him, and then we had lunch, and then we did some projects which will also appear on video at some point. A couple projects, some fun ones, one very fun, and then that was that. So really what it came down to was, just to wrap this up, I came off of a busy couple of weeks of travel and whatnot, and work is very stressful right now with a lot going on, and then having to shift gears from that responsibility to take 2 days out of my schedule to go interview and properly prepare for that the way I like to prepare, as well as deal with some educational decisions for my son, which is it's all good. He's a smart kid and all, but that was the priority. And then with flight delays, bad weather, forgot my computer charger and had to navigate that in there. It was just a lot at once, right? And so what I wanted to talk about really quick is, as I wrap this up, is anxiety and stress is relative to the person. Like looking back on the week, I'm like, oh, that wasn't bad. Like that wasn't a bad week. But like in the moment, and kind of not even in the moment, but like thinking about everything that had to happen in front of me was overwhelming. So I think I talk about it in the very beginning of this video. The way I handle that is I literally, I know this is so simple, take one day at a time. If I find my brain drifting about a meeting 2 days later, I pull it back and say, nope, just focus on what you need to do now. If there's something you need to do now to prepare for that meeting, just get that done, but don't actually think about the meeting. And I adopted that mentality a long time ago when I started having to unfortunately travel for 2 weeks at a time and just being away from home and like all the meetings. I would just say, focus on the here and now. And that's what I did this week. I just focused on what I had to accomplish that day. And I even got so crazy, I said, just focus on what you got to get done in the morning. Focus on what you got to do in the afternoon. And that worked. That worked really well. The other thing that I drew upon is this interview. Now, you shouldn't take any interview lightly, especially if you really want the opportunity. However, and I should do a video on this interview process I went through, I had a bunch of Teams video meetings over the course of the past number of months, and obviously I had to travel to Michigan for it. But it is nothing compared to what I went through for the role I have now more than 8 years ago. Nothing. So I was reminding myself of that, and that that kept me pretty mellow. So I like going back to what I was saying. I wouldn't say I had an anxiety this week, but it was more of the feeling of being overwhelmed by so much that I had to get through, and I really take it personally in terms of wanting to deliver for whatever the task is, whatever I need to do. So I want to be at my best, and the fear of not being at my best can get tricky. But that interview, I somehow pulled it all together and was at my best, and that's why I think this is a really good match. And lastly, what kind of I guess gave me the ability to kind of have that mentality of like, hey, let's just take it one day at a time, just purely focused on today. Where I got that mentality was from my running, right? there's times a year, or certain times that like I do really long runs, you know, like 10-mile runs, 12-mile runs. I think last year I did at least one 15-mile run. The year before I did two 17-mile runs. So one of the things I've trained myself mentally to do is like when I start a run, you can easily be like, oh man, I'm in mile 2. I got so far to go. You know, when you start letting those thoughts drift in, just say, you know what, I'm just going to focus on this mile. Let's just do this mile. Let's do the next mile. Again, I know such a simple concept, but if you practice it, and the probably the hard part is disciplining your mind to stay in that space, then it works very well. So for me, that translated from running into the real life. You know, let's just focus on today, focus on the hour, focus on the morning, and not let your mind wander out and start to get anxiety and get overwhelmed with what you have to do later. All right, well, I'm gonna go. Thanks for hearing me. I probably won't post this video for a while, so by the time this airs, whatever comes of this opportunity will certainly be known. Make sure you like, subscribe, and yeah, thanks for being with me during this week. And it'll be interesting to go back and watch the video to see kind of how my demeanor and mindset was early in the week, which would have been early in the video, versus now, because the weight's off my shoulder. I'm feeling awesome. The sense of accomplishment of this week, awesome. I did it, and I knew I would get to this point. And I also knew that if I skipped anything or like bailed out in the interview because I was too tired or whatever, that I would feel I would feel worse because I didn't accomplish my goals. And I did that this week. And I hope you accomplish your goals for next week. What are your goals? And as I said, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Ciao for now.